Voices continued. Competing voices. This is where it gets interesting. All of the voices I have mentioned in these previous videos, they all seem to have a different hold in your mind, a different place in your mind, a different home, a different starting point, and a different goal, different mission. I don't understand how this works. I really don't. I don't understand where it comes from. I don't understand how it's possible that one mind can be in so many different places. There's so many different points of view at the one, like it's all from my mind. But once the voice has been established, once they have their hold and their perceived mission, or I don't know what, they all want control of your thinking voice. And what I mean by control is they want the influencing power over your thinking voice. Because your thinking voice is what leads to your actions. So if something gets control, or one voice gets control of your thinking voice, it has the most amount of leverage on the actions that you follow. And it's a triangle. Actions, thoughts, feelings, actions, thoughts, feelings, actions, thoughts, feelings, actions, thoughts. This is probably the most dangerous part of schizophrenia. This is where you're at most risk to yourself, and this is where you're at most risk to other people. If you are in a state of conflicting voices, you are in a state of conflict. You are under attack, and you will be on the defensive. If someone comes to help you and you're in this state, more often than not, you will perceive this person to also be attacking you, trying to get control of you. Because everything else is imagined. Yet here is this one person who is in front of you, or multiple people, maybe the police, or doctors, maybe you're in a clinic, maybe it's a whole lot of other fucking crazy people, and here are these humans, something real, in front of you. And you can project this internal attack as coming from them. Now, I am mentally ill. That does not excuse my actions. I am still responsible for my actions now that I know I am mentally ill. There is an argument to be made for people that do not know that they're mentally ill. And that is a can of worms that I am not going to open at this particular point. Editor's note, do you like that can of worms that I just opened and then said I'm not going to open that? That's exactly why I am here. So let me just clarify something that I am overlooking when making this statement. I am currently living in Germany, and in Germany they recognize and support the mentally ill through greatly developed programs and systems spread throughout the country. Because I have had so much support, because when I was able to accept that I needed help, there was a system in place for me to go into where they gave me the help and support that I needed and encouraged me to get back into society and gave me the tools and support I needed to become not just a member of society, but a fully functioning working member of society, to be able to have a job and a place to live and to have an independent lifestyle. And because I had this support, and because the systems were there when I accepted the fact that I needed them, I feel greatly obligated to play my part in this role. Now, I can't really comment anymore on the support system in Australia, as I have not been in it for over 7 years. But from my experience, it was very hit and miss. It was very difficult to get into. It was very expensive. And the support from the general public and society was also not there. I cannot comment on systems in other countries as I have not experienced them. So when I say that I am fully responsible for my actions, I am fully responsible for my actions here and now within this system, because I am given every opportunity of support needed for me to be a full functioning, working, tax-paying member of society. And because I was given the help and support that I needed to become this, and that now I am a part of this system that I support through my taxes, I feel a great obligation to play my part and take full responsibility for my condition. But I do not and cannot and should not and will not say that this should relate to anyone else in any other system. That is my position of myself in my life, and I believe that that has a lot to do with the progress that I make in my recovery and in my way of dealing with this disease. That is how I am able to make it serious enough for myself that I continue to do the work to keep myself mentally stable. Now, back to the misguided fool. But as of now, I am fully responsible for my actions. I am in charge of my disease. I am making conscious decisions that affect other people. I am choosing not to be medicated. I am choosing to deal with this and to focus on it, and that is my choice, and therefore I need to take the full responsibility. And I take that very seriously. I do not want to hurt anybody. I will hurt myself before I hurt anybody else. Sidetrack. The fuck am I even talking about? Competing voices. Oh my god. Focus, man. Focus. Did I get to a point there? I don't even know if I finished my point. What to do if you find yourself dealing with competing voices? The easiest and quickest I have found is podcast. Not any podcast, but a podcast where they are talking calmly and logically and with focus. And for this, I generally turn to science or philosophy. Now, I don't want to promote any one particular podcast, but if you're looking for a tone of voice that is incredibly focused, very centralist, it's not left-wing, right-wing, centralist. I randomly discovered him at a time when I couldn't even leave the house. And it wasn't so much what he was saying, it was just how he was able to talk about what seemed to be anything without any real emotion. You could tell he was emotional, but it did not come across in his tone and the way that he conducted himself. And his name is Sam Harris. If you find podcast where they're calmly, logically keeping a conversation going, this can really help calm the voices in your mind. And instead of conflicting with one another, they will take on this calming, soothing, conversational type thing. And I have managed to create a warning signal where I am aware that multiple voices are in a conflict situation in my mind. And I get my internal thinking voice to say very loudly, not out loud, but internally in my mind, I will not listen to you. I will not acknowledge you. I will not pay any attention to you until you have come to a consensus. And only when they agree on something will I listen to them. Now, these voices play all sorts of petty games, and maybe I'll make a video about that. But I was only able to do that after being on medication for nearly a year and slowly coming off medication, and then being able to become aware of the voices as they began to reappear. And I was able to re-familiarize myself, or to really become aware of how these voices influence my thinking voice and how I can influence them and how predictable they can be. Like, I know that during certain tasks and being in certain places and doing certain things, I will always get the same response from particular voices. Or they become extremely predictable in the conflicts that they have with one another. And this only comes from awareness, of paying attention to it, and putting in the energy. Voices will be continued. To be continued.